Hi everyone, Mr. Neighbor here, and today I want to talk briefly about a method we use in math called cross multiply and divide. It's most commonly used when we have two fractions that are equal to each other and we want to solve for a missing part of one of those fractions. So for example, let's say we have x over 2 equals 4 over 8. So these two fractions are equal. This fraction, if I think about it, it will simplify to the fraction 1/2. This fraction, I don't know what it is yet, but I know it has a 2 in the bottom. Conveniently, in this problem, there's a 2 in the bottom when I simplify this fraction as well. So we know that this x must be 1. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. But there's a method we can use when things get difficult, when we don't know these answers off the top of our head. And that method is called cross multiply and divide. So how to use this cross multiply and divide method? I don't want to tell you how to use it before you know why you can use it. Okay, so it deals with algebra on why you can use it. So what we kind of start with is think about what you have here. I have a mystery number and it's cut into halves. Here I have 4 and it's cut into eighths. To get rid of this, I am going to do multiplication. If I have 8 pieces, that means I'll have a whole. So I'm going to multiply this side by the number 8. And remember, the number 8 is really like 8 over 1. But if I change one side of an equation, I have to change the other side too. Otherwise, it won't be equal. So if I had some amount on the scale, I have to increase both sides of the scale by the same amount so that they don't tip one way or the other, that they're balanced. So I have to multiply this side by 8 over 1 as well. So if I do some multiplication, I will have on this side 4 times 8, which would be 32. 8 times 1, which would be 8. That is equal to 8 times x. I really don't know what that is, so I'm going to write 8x. And 1 times 2, which is 2. Okay. I like to simplify fractions, and every mathematician should. So if I look at this, 32 divided by 8, that would simplify to 4. 8 x's divided by 2, well, think about this like 8 apples, and you're cutting those in half. You'll have 4 apples. 4 apples. And now you need to figure out what this mystery x is. Well, what number times 4 will give you 4? The answer is 1. But if the number is too difficult and you are not sure, a strategy to use is division. Undo the thing that's happening here, which is multiplication. So undo that with division. So divide by 4. But what we do to one side, we must do to both sides. Divide by 4. All right, let me scroll down just a little bit. So now our answer we will see is 4 divided by 4. And 4 x's divided by 4. These divide by 4's right here are what I wrote in red. Well, 4 divided by 4 is just 1, and I still have x there. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. So x is equal to 1. That's what we knew all along. It was our whole reasoning behind this. But this is a strategy that makes it work. Yes, it looks very complicated, but what you're doing is you're just undoing things. We see this divide by 8 sitting right here, and we undo it by multiplying by 8. Then we see a multiply by 4 down here, so we do the opposite and we divide by 4. And what we do to one side, we do to both sides. So we see another divide by 4 here, and because we multiplied by 8, we have another multiply by 8 over here. So we're just getting rid of things. We're undoing things. If you wanted to, you could have multiplied this by 2. Notice there's a divide by 2 here. We could have multiplied this side by 2 and this side by 2. It would have changed our process a little bit, but it would have changed the numbers a little bit, but the process would remain the same. So let's just try another one really quick. Let's do this one in green. So let's say I have x over 3 equals 7 over, 5. So I really have no idea what this x is going to be. But let's use this process. So I'm going to multiply this time by the denominator right here, 3, which is like 3 over 1. I'm going to do that same thing over here. Multiply by 3 over 1. So 3 times x is 3x. 1 times 3 is 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 5 times 1 is 5. Let's simplify. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. And there's an x there. 21 divided by 5. I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Okay. So here I have 1x equals 21 over 5. Well, 1x is really what x is, so that's it. I'm done. 21 over 5 is my answer. Fraction answers are okay as long as they're simplified. Even improper fraction answers are okay. So 21 over 5 is our final answer. Okay. I want to go back. I want to erase this. I want to do it with the 5 instead of the 3 now. So I'm going to erase this. Let's multiply by 5 instead. So if you want to see how I did that, you always can go back and look at the video one more time. Back it up. So now we're just going to multiply by 5, which is really like 5 over 1. All right, so 5 times x is 5 x's, like 5 apples. Oops, I want to change my color here quick. Erase. So 5 x's. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 1 is 5. Now let's simplify. 5 divided by 3, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to just rewrite what I have. 35 divided by 5, though, is 7. Notice that was our numerator. It's like these 5s canceled each other, and we're just left with the 7. And now I have this. I still don't know what x is, so I got to do some more work. I have to get rid of this 3 down here. That's being divided, so let's multiply. Put a multiply symbol there. 5x times 3 would be 15 x's over 3. 7 times 3 is 21. Let's simplify. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Still have that x. 21, it's just that number. I can't simplify it. And now the last thing I have is multiplication. So I'm going to undo with division. Dividing by 5, divide by 5, 5 x's over 5, 21 over 5. Simplify, 5 divided by 5 is just 1x, 21 over 5, I don't know what that is, so it's just 21 over 5. We get out the same answer. So this is an explanation of what cross multiplying and dividing is. Now, next video, I'm going to show you what the cross multiply and divide method actually works out to be. But this is the math behind it. This is the important stuff. This is what you're doing, and the next video is the trick.